All right, I'm Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer, who's here to share her insights on how to write a book because she was my star book coaching student, and she's now a best-selling author. And so Joanie and I are welcome, Joanie.
Welcome. Hi, everybody. Hi, Elizabeth. Happy Friday to you.
Yes, it's a very happy Friday. And Joanie, I'm Joanie Lindenmeyer. I'm always here to share her insights on how to write a book because she was my star book coaching student. And we can edit that out. Awesome. Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. All right, Joanie. All of you watching live, thank you for putting up with the technological glitch, but we're good. So Joanie and I are collaborating to write two amazing books. And we're like, hey, let's share the step-by-step every Friday with you who are aspiring, trying to write a book, probably for the first time. Share all these tips that help you write the book successfully. So every week, please check out all the videos here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel so that you can see what you need to know to write, publish, and promote your awesome book. So Joanie, I'm super excited. How are you doing today?
I'm getting stronger every day. I think I've had COVID for the last 4 or 5 days, and so today's my last day with my medicine, and I'm just getting stronger every day. And I'm so grateful for people and prayers and happy thoughts and patience with a foggy brain, But I know some of you are out there, and maybe you're not feeling the chipperest place in your life right now, but you know what? There's always hope. We can get through anything together. And that's what Elizabeth and I do with these books as well.
Yes. So Joanie, you look really healthy. You're energetic. You're getting back to your usual super high energy, joyous self. You've got the flowers in the background, which is gorgeous. You're in Utah visiting your sister. You're going to have a book signing there. And just being here, despite your challenges of the past week, are a testimony to your strength and to all of you that don't let anything stop you. If you have the goal of writing a book or anything else, just keep powering away and get to it. So
today, and I think related to that, Elizabeth, my flowers are back there. When I arrived at the airport in Cedar City, my sister handed me these flowers getting off the airplane. So that's why they're there. She's with me in spirit, and she's never done that before, to give me flowers at the airport. So that was pretty darn special. And then just yesterday, my last prop. This is Utah sage. It's from a bush. And oh my gosh, it is just so beautiful. And it's helping with my breathing because I'm able to breathe it in and then exhale it out. And so anybody out there, maybe you have something in your yard or somewhere around that you can pick that just puts a happy smile on your face. And I know you do, Elizabeth. I don't see any flowers today, but normally you are loaded with flowers. Oh, what is that?
Sage, essential oil sage. So the medicinal properties of sage are vast, but sage oil or sage brush or using a stick, you can smudge, which means use the smoke to clear energy from your home. I wouldn't recommend it while you're having a respiratory issue, but sage is a really powerful herb that helps with plant medicine for a variety of things. But I keep it here because sage oil, you drop some in your palm, you rub it together, you inhale just like Joanie inhaled the real deal, which is probably better, but I don't have any. So it helps clear your mind. If you get an annoying phone call or you can't focus, you sniff some of this stuff. Oh my gosh. And it clears your energy. So Joanie, you're right on. Right on. Love it.
All right, good. I'm glad we're twins once again.
Yes,
so anybody out there, grab your sage or start smelling something and be right with Elizabeth and I.
Yes. So everybody, how does this relate to writing? Well, wellness and writing are connected. If you don't feel well mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you're not going to be able to write in your genius zone. So that's why my desk is covered in crystals, essential oils, upbeat messages, and other symbols of things that help me focus and be empowered and creative. So it is relevant talking about sage here on the weekly talk about how to write a book. So let's get into today's topic. Thankfully, because Joanie was my student and she had to orchestrate her own experience based on my teachings that works for her, she said, let's talk about the business of writing, because you might think of it as a hobby or something on the side. But when you start making money, it's a business. It's going to affect your bank account, income and expenditures, and it's also going to affect your taxes. So you need to be smart before you start making the money or spending the money so that you can account for it all and do it the best possible way for your profitability. So Joanie, let's talk about the business of writing. You want to just sort of open it up with whatever you think is the most important thing to share.
You know how I operate. Whatever comes in the brain or heart, here we go. This is never rehearsed, everybody. This is never rehearsed. I guess my first reaction, or when you say business, I think of two things. I think of your sister, Catherine, and oh my gollies, what a godsend she has been to literally, and I mean literally, sit shoulder to shoulder in a restaurant or in her office with her laptop on her lap and helping me to figure out what I need to do. And so the very first thing, of course, was to get a bank account going with and I called it Nun Better. Pretty fancy, huh? The Nun Better.
That's your book title for anybody who's just tuning in. Joanie's book is called Nun Better, an amazing love story by Joanie Lindenmeyer, available on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. So there you go, Joanie. Go ahead.
Right. So right there in Catherine's office, or I don't remember exactly where, but she was able to help me log into my bank and go ahead and set up the account Nun Better. And with that, then we were able to make sure that all things that I needed to pay for were coming out of that account, and all things that were received would come into that account. And then as time went on, and she taught me how to keep track of my mileage in a calendar. She taught me how to keep track of all my business expenses. And I'm trying to remember, from stickers to T-shirts to business cards to all those kind of things. And I had the creative juices flowing, but she was literally my computer help. And I don't want to say secretary. She is so much more than this.
Not at all. Let me just clarify.
Wizard. She's my financial wizard. That's what I should call Catherine, my financial wizard. You're the literary genius. She's the financial wizard. And so.
Thank you, Joanie. Real quick, Catherine, my sister and business partner, the other half of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, Catherine Greenspan, is a certified award-winning financial services professional. So when Joanie said she went in her bank account, don't let any old buddy log into your bank account, okay? Don't do that.
Exactly.
My sister does this professionally as a financial professional. So very important to consult with a trusted financial consultant, whether it's your accountant, your tax person, your financial planner, whoever it is, and someone you really trust to set this up for you. So thank you for that, Joanie. And again, Catherine Greenspan is a certified award-winning financial services professional, in addition to being the other half of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. So go ahead, Joanie.
Okay, so she just guided me through everything that I needed to do to set all those things up. And so I don't really have to think about it anymore. It was done from the start. And that's what I operated out of. And yes, I have a checkbook, but I have my debit card / credit card that I use for all my expenses that I need to use. And then she advised me to get a hold of my tax accountant to let them know that I am an author, that this is a business. And so I contacted my tax accountant that Carol and I have had for years and years and years. And they were absolutely phenomenal. And she said, well, what about anything else? And I said, well, I want to make sure it's in my living trust, because I had to redo the living trust once Carol passed away. And so I talked with my good friend and attorney, Peter Spratt, and he sat down with me, and we went over everything that needed to go in my living trust, because eventually, like we've talked about before, that I will die, but the book will go on. And so I want to make sure that it's in there for my family and whoever I designated out to, which is my family right now. And so those two important things, the attorney and the tax accountant, were all part of the business deal that Catherine helped me get organized with and situated. Can I jump in there with one more thing?
Of course.
Okay. And people say, well, Joanie, how did you fund this? How did you fund this? And this was a total miracle, Elizabeth. When oh boy, when Carol passed and we had oh boy, ooh, we had a van, a mobility van for Carol, and I knew I needed to sell it, right? And so thank goodness one of her therapists knew somebody who needed a mobility van. And so long story short, and this just blows me away. The mother of the person who needed, an elderly woman, she was in a car wreck and her car was totaled. And her car was totaled for the amount of $12,200. Well, that was the exact amount that I decided I would ask for to sell this car, $12,200. And so this man and his wife call me and set it all up, and we get together. And I said, well, you need to drive it. You need to look at it. You need to see if it'll work for your mother and your father who were in need of the van. And so they came to Brookings and took a look at it. And within 5 minutes, he goes, this is it. This is it. He goes, I'm going to go to the bank right now and get the money. And next thing I know, within a half an hour, he shows up with an envelope with $12,200 cash.
What?
And I'm going, oh my gosh, this is how I'm going to do the business. This is how I need to pay my expenses right here, right now. I don't have to go into my savings. It's like, oh my gosh, I know this is a business. I got to have some money there. And so lo and behold,
gosh.
So yeah, so he gives me the envelope. We take care of the car deal. I go back to the same bank that he just took the money out. I'm walking in with the same envelope with $12,200. I go to the teller and the teller says, oh, he was just here to take that out for you. And so I said, well, now let's put it into this account.
Oh my gosh.
But it was a God thing, but it was a business thing because I needed that money to kick off everything I needed to do, from gas to lodging to business cards to all the things that you need to do. And it adds up, $50 here, $80 here, $100 there.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep a ledger of that, and that didn't work really well for me, a handwritten ledger. And thank goodness for bank statements. I'll thank you, God, for my tellers at my banks who print them off for me. And then I have a what do they call it? Expenses and what's the other category?
Profit and loss.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And so I have all the bank statements, and that's what I just keep. And then regarding the business, it was like, how do I organize my office? Carolyn, my neighbor, helped me set up file folders, and she would type the labels because my chicken scratch doesn't always look the best. And so that's how I keep track of it all. And it's like, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to Catherine. I'm so grateful to you. I'm so grateful to all the tellers. I'm so grateful to all the people. Once again, it's a team that has helped me to learn and to grow. And I'm hoping now that this can help somebody out there right now. So
yes, it's so
my good friend Maggie, who says, Joanie, you've moved from author to businesswoman, and that's still sort of sinking in my head. And
yes. So that's amazing, Joanie. I am so grateful that you're sharing all this detail with everybody out there who now is going to understand the business of writing. We should also do a talk someday about trusting the divine plan. Once you get the calling to write a book, it's more than just you. It's a divine calling, your contribution to humanity. And your book is touching people all over, everywhere. It's an LGBTQ plus love story that's affirming people, celebrating people, and giving them the courage that you and Carol demonstrated during your 40-year love adventure. So the importance of that is, once you get the idea, and everybody out there, you might have a day job, a family, you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to take the time? How am I going to find the resources, the money to do this? Joanie is an example of how once you embark and take that first step, the universe is going to conspire to help you. The universe, just like Joanie, I mean, look, the same amount of money, those synchronicities are not a coincidence. They are the divine universe, spirit, God, cosmos, whatever you want to call that higher power that's guiding our steps, providing physical affirmation that you're on the right track. And here's the resources you need when you need them. Even though taking that first step, you had no clue how you were going to do this.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So Joanie.
Oh, it's just so emotional because it really is the truth, Elizabeth, and I know Carol's van is paying for the book, and which is now touching hearts. And that's
Yes.
what it's all about. Who could have imagined that? Who could have imagined that?
Yes. And for those of you who haven't read the book or figured out, Carol is Joanie's partner. She went to heaven in early 2022, about 6 months before Joanie started writing the book with me as my book coaching student. So she's on the cover with Carol Tierheimer. And there's also a really hilarious story in the book about when Joanie was a Catholic nun, and nuns are clueless about money. And Joanie went to the bank and the teller, it's such a cute story. You have to read the book, but it's adorable. So to see your savvy now and someone calling you a businesswoman and you handling this so well. There's two things I definitely want to touch on before we're done today is that, did you start an LLC? And secondly, talking about once you had your first book signings, how you manage the sales, because that's a huge step that people need to take. But first, did you start an LLC?
I have not, and I'm going with my advice of Peter Spratt, my attorney. And now that we're writing the two the two next progressive books, he said, this is what his advice to me was, Joanie, I want to see your profit and loss statements. I want to make sure that you're in the profit zone before we set up the LLC. And now that you're going to have some more money, probably going out a little bit more with these two extra books, let's give another 6 months before we set you up on the LLC. That's his advice. And so I've also received advice from Catherine and from Leah. Leah
Halpert is our trademark attorney. Did she give you some guidance?
She has. And then I guess I'm going to meet with Catherine again in a week or so. And I know that this will be another part of that discussion.
Oh, good.
So, okay.
So that's great. So they're telling you to wait. Some authors start the LLC from the very beginning. They come up with a business name. They file it with their state. You have to get an EIN from the IRS. That's free. There's a small fee to set up your LLC with your state. You don't have to pay a lot. You can do it all online yourself. If you want to rush it, you can pay extra. And then you have the bank account. To open the bank account for the LLC, you need the IRS EIN, employment identification or employer identification number, which is basically your social security number for your business. And then you have to take all of that to the bank when you open an account for the business in the business name. And a banking business account is different than a personal one. So those are all things you talk to your trusted financial people, just like Joanie did, to decide, do I start an LLC now, later? What does it all entail? What does it cost, etc.? What are the benefits and consequences of doing it now or later? So secondly, and very much attached to the business of a bank account relating to your book, is sales at events in person. So a lot of sales happen online. That's a whole different thing. But when you have an event, and Joanie, you've had many, tell us about how you've handled credit card, cash, and check sales.
You betcha. Thanks again, back to my financial wizard, Catherine. She helped me purchase a little square card reader. And so that's how I access or use to use people's debit card, and they just tap it or they insert it and it just registers. And then every month I get a report from the Square company, I guess. And that tells me how many books I sold, which ones I sold, was it hardback or paperback? There's, $35 for the hardback, $20 for the paperback. And Catherine has gone over all the numbers with me because I purchased them at wholesale and then sell them at retail. And then for people that order 12 or more, I cut them a deal, of course, and all those kind of things that I want to throw in as the Joanie mechanism. And then in terms of cash and checks, I keep track of that. So this is sort of cool. My neighbor Carolyn and I and my sister Terry helped make forms. So I have my who purchased, what did they purchase, and then did they pay cash, check, or card? And so I have all of this. So when somebody is at the sales table before I sign the books, I have two tables basically. One table is set for the purchasing of the books, and then the other table is set for me to actually talk to and autograph the books. But the salespeople and Catherine and my sister Gail, and I always appoint somebody to run that table because it is just way too hard for me to do both. It's just way too hard. I've done that one time and oh, no,
never. Everybody, you need, like Joanie said, you need a team and you need somebody to handle the sales at a different table because that's a whole different thing. And then you need a separate table for the author after the people bought the book. And so they bring the purchased book over to the author and then she autographs it and usually gives a hug as well.
Absolutely. And thanks to Catherine again, she's like, Joanie, let's get some sticky note papers, put those on top of the book with the person's name. So when you go to write their name, you know the exact spelling, because oftentimes I don't always understand it or hear it from the person. Maybe they, for whatever reason. And so having that written sticky note with their name on it, I can make sure I'm spelling their name correctly, which is really, really, really important. And so back to the sales part. So at the end of every event, on the back of this paper that has all my information for that event, who, I keep track of the phone number, the contact person, the location, the time. I have a whole list of things that I need to bring or are they going to provide, so I know who's doing that. And at the end of the book event, and Catherine helped me the very first time, I remember sitting in a restaurant and she's going, okay, Joanie, here's what we need to do now. All right, how many hardbacks did you sell? How many paperbacks? And so she went through all the categories that I needed to keep track for the totals of those books. And so that just helps me out a whole bunch. And she goes, okay, now you want to say, okay, did you have expenses like lodging or gas or food or balloons or whatever you had? She goes, take a look at that and see, are you in the red or in the black? And so I had to learn what those colors meant. It was like, oh, okay, simple things. But
awesome.
to me, it wasn't simple.
No, and everybody, when you read Joanie's story about the bank teller, you're going to appreciate her intelligent conversation about business all the more right now. So let me just backtrack a tiny bit. So Joanie talked about a reader for credit card sales. You can ask your bank what service they provide, whether it's saying get the Square reader. It's just a thing that you swipe the credit card. You can plug it into your phone, your iPad, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop, whatever device you take to the book signing. You can slide it and it's just a credit card reader. We have one where you can use it like a cash register on the screen. So we punch in, it's preset for different book sales, and we just punch in the information. So it's amazing technology. I want to talk, Joanie, about where you got the books. So we here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing allow our authors to purchase their books through us at the wholesale price, the manufacturing cost per book. So let's just say a hardcover is $10 as the unit price. So they can purchase each hardcover at $10 and sell it for $25 or $30. It depends on how many pages the book has to determine the price. And so you can see that there can be a significant profit margin when you buy a book for $10 and sell it for $30. That's $20 per book. That's awesome. That's for in-person sales. Now, back when I first became a published author, I would have a bookstore. We didn't have this mechanism. Our company's only 7 years old. I would have a bookstore come and bring the books and do the sales. Well, I didn't understand that the bookstore is going to make a huge profit from that, and I'm not. I got royalties from my publisher in New York, yes, for the sales, but had I understood this model now where you buy the book at the wholesale price, sell it for retail, and really make good money, return on the investment of all the expenses Joanie talked about. So that's really important. If you have a book signing, that's for independent events. Like Joanie's first book signing was at a pizzeria. The next one was at a winery. She's had them at all kinds of places in people's homes. Next, if you have a book signing in a store, they typically do a consignment where you bring the books and they take 40% of the profit and you take 60%. That's normal. So in-person sales are really your best bet for making the most money, or if you can sell them directly from your website. And so
and I always had to remember that there was shipping on that when you ship the boxes of the books, and the shipping cost is I think it's hefty, but that's the way the shipping world works. And so even though the cost of the book may be $10, by the time you put the shipping cost on there, now the book is maybe $14 because of the shipping. I don't know the exact numbers.
Right.
But yes.
So if you do rush shipping, it's way, way more expensive, but thankfully that option exists to get the books to your event on time if you're in a crunch. But when you do standard shipping, it's minimal. But Joanie, that's a great point. You have to, everything adds up. There's taxes, there's extra fees. So everything, but you're doing your numbers and that's what matters.
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. What else do we need to share about the business of writing?
Well, I guess, and I've told people that have contributed to my team that they're not a part of making the profit here. And so they don't receive any royalties, but they do receive my love and my attention and my good vibes. And I'll take them out to dinner, or I'll do this, or I'll pay them in a different way versus them receiving any royalties. And everybody on my team, Joanie, we're not in this to make money with you, and I'm not, that's not personally my goal either. I mean, yes, I want to make it a profitable business, but that's not my goal. And so it's like, I'm not into becoming a millionaire. If it happens, I'll tell you, the Lord will tell me where I need to put that money. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I've already made some contributions and some tithing from my business that I have earned. So when I really got a profit of $50 or $75, I would take a portion of that, and that's who I am. I donate or I tithe, and it just feels so good that I know that this Nun Better book is supporting maybe this cause for $20 this month or $50 this month, which is a cool thing. And to me, that's part of the business.
That's beautiful. So really important point there, Joanie. Teamwork makes the dream work. And our best-selling author, Mort Meisner, at mortmeisner.com, his website, he had a team and he wrote this awesome blog post about how the team was like a birthing team to birth the book. And without the team, he could not have succeeded. So you are very fortunate that you have people who voluntarily love you so much and want to help you voluntarily make the book a success. But there's no problem with hiring people. There's virtual assistants who can help you. There's friends who might, you can pay an amount of money to hourly rate to help you. So if you don't have the team to work for you for free, like Joanie's blessed with, you can hire people to help you. You can get a college student who's social media savvy. You can get somebody who understands the technology of Google Docs and sharing and back and forth with your editor or publisher. So there's no shame in that game of asking for help and paying for it.
Absolutely. And I've done that because I do not want to take advantage of people and their time and their energy and their skill. They need to be reimbursed and paid some way, somehow. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful, Joanie. I think that this is a really, really robust explanation of the business of publishing for a beginner, especially. Thank you for your tremendous insight and awesome talking points now. All of you, I hope this has really helped you. If you want to talk to Joanie further, you can reach her on her Facebook page at Joanie Lindenmeyer. You can please drop us a comment if you have any questions here. We'd love to get back with you. If you want to suggest a show topic, please do the same. You can also reach me at twosisterswriting.com. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins. Love to answer your questions. Please also check out Joanie's book, Nun Better, an amazing love story, available in hardcover, paperback, ebook on Amazon, soon to be audiobook. So, Joanie, any last words?
I think you just hit it. The next stuff is audiobook in the next 2 books. And so again, those are business adventures as well as writing adventures. And I'm just excited about all of that.
Yay. Excellent. Excellent. Everybody stay tuned for more about the 2 books that we're actually writing together, because it's just popping brilliantly. It's so amazing and exciting. So those are coming out in June of 2024. And we created a schedule and we're super excited about everything. So all of you, please write that book. Nobody's going to write your book for you unless you hire them. Your story won't get told, and sadly, most people's story only gets told after they die, when someone else writes their obituary. Don't be that person. Write your story now. Preserve your legacy, your wisdom, share it with your family, friends, and the world. We're here to help you at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and our awesome superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer, is leading the pack to help encourage you to write and read great books. So we will see you next Friday live here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel, where you get more guidance on how to write, publish, and promote your awesome book. So thank you, Joanie, for joining me.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Happy day to everybody. Big hugs.
Big hugs to you. Bye, everybody.